Bear down, Bears fans. In the span of 10 days, the entire interior offensive line has been made over as the Chicago Bears have signed Drew Dalman to a 3-year, $42 million deal that includes $28 million guaranteed to be their starting center. Ryan Poles has started off this free agency period absolutely cooking. I love what you've done with the interior offensive line. I think it speaks to some different scenarios now for the Chicago Bears that could be in play moving forward. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below about the signing of Drew Dalman. To me, this is just one that made the most sense, and you get him in at about $14 million per. I would love to see if there was some kind of bidding war at all on this, or if the Chicago Bears were just who he wanted to be with. Would love to hear some details on that, because I actually think you got him in here at a little bit less than what I expected him to be. I was expecting around that $17 to $20 million range because of how many teams needed an offensive lineman on the field, and why I said, right, if you get a bidding war going for a starting center, that could be something that proves difficult for you. But to me, Drew Dalman, I love the conversation around him at $14 million in the run game. I think that he is absolutely a dominant force, and I think it does speak to the fact that at some point in this draft, the Chicago Bears will take a running back. I don't know if that's going to be at 10 with Genty, but I do think that the Chicago Bears at some point will take a running back in this draft, because you've got offensive linemen that are great in the run. I think Ben Johnson is all about putting people in positions that they're already good at, utilizing guys in positions where, hey, listen, we know this guy's good in the run. We're going to use him more so in the run. I think with the offensive line that you currently have now, with Joe Thuney in the building, of course, you've got Jonah Jackson on that right side. I would assume Drew Dalman now is your interior offensive lineman. I think that you shored up a lot with that interior front. Also looking around, though, on the right side, Darnell Wright, we loved what he was in the run game last season when he was able to, or I'm sorry, 2 seasons ago when him and Tevin Jenkins were together and he was just clearing out space on that right side. I think the pairing of him and Jonah Jackson next to each other is going to be a fun one to watch this season, as long as everyone's able to stay healthy. And I think, listen, as much as I rag on Braxton Jones and why I say, look, I'm good on Braxton Jones, I would like to see the Bears go a completely different direction on the Braxton Jones conversation. Braxton Jones in the run game is just fine. And I think that's kind of where, to me, if I'm looking at anything, right, this feels like the Bears are going to be a more run-heavy team. I talked about this over on the Windy City Breeze. I think last week I dropped this video on it, on how some of the signings could be pointing to the possible kind of system that the Chicago Bears might want to run here. I believe this is going to be an Earhart-Perkins type of system, the EP system. I think it kind of fits when you talk about bringing in Joe Thuney, who's played in that system before, also Durham Smythe, who's played in that system before. And I think when you look at those two pairings, along with Jonah Jackson, along with now bringing in Drew Dalman, who was dominant in an outside zone run scheme, right? You're taking different factors from all of these schemes to make the game simple for you. It's predicated on running the football. It's predicated on getting the football out quick. I think that that's the kind of offensive line that you're building here. And I really do like kind of how the Bears have gone about this process of adding to the team and going out there and trying to finally build up this offensive line. Now, the big question is, what do they do in the draft because of this? Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. How do you like this signing for the Chicago Bears? Do you think that this is a good move? And honestly, where do you think the Bears go now in the first round of this draft? I know a lot of people are feeling the Genty conversation. This clearly points to we're taking Ashton Genty. I don't know if I'm there. To me, this clearly points to you being very, very aggressive on the opposite side of the football. And if you see me keep looking away, it's because I'm trying to make sure that I'm keeping up here. I'm on Threads, new system. Panthers are working to finalize a deal on Milton Williams. Yeah, the Panthers are going to be good at football next year. Oh, no. Titans are doing okay. I just want to make sure there's no other Bears news breaking while I'm doing this. That is a really good get if they get Milton Williams down there in Carolina. But to me, this is a conversation on now. Listen, we can go at 10 and take a look at the best defensive linemen that are available, or we can go all in on offensive line and take a name like Armand Membo, who I think is we had the conversation about, where the different offensive tackles rank in this draft. And I know a lot of people are looking at most of the guys as guards. I know a lot of people are looking at guys like Josh Simmons as the possibility, but to me, Armand Membo is the best name that is on the board. You know what I mean? To me, when you look at that tackle position, he's the best name that there is available to you. And now, if you want to go all in for a guy like Armand Membo, because you've got all of these other pieces built out on this team, why not go high in the draft and solidify the rest of this offensive line? And I think that that's just one of those things where the Bears have created a tremendous amount of flexibility. The Bears have created a tremendous amount of flexibility that I think just makes this team have a bunch of different avenues that make sense now in the first round. And dare I say, I know I'm out, and I've said that it makes no sense to take Ashton Jeanty that high, but even in the running back conversation, it makes more sense because you've addressed your offensive line. I'm not a pay the running backs guy. I'm not a spend big money on the running backs guy, but I can be if you've paid money for everything else. And I look around and I go, that's fine. The running back is there. If you feel that comfortable about it, and Brandon Thorne has talked about some of the offensive line. We had him on the other day, talked about some of the O linemen and D linemen that are available in this draft. But if you feel more comfortable that, hey, the best player out of this is going to be the running back here, I can deal with that conversation. Would it be the move I'd make? No, but none of what Ryan Poles has built here would be the move I'd make. So I just think that this is the signing of Drew Dalman and the two moves that you made on the interior of the offensive line over the last couple of days, to me, are putting you in a position where you can play a lot more with the draft capital that you have. I think a lot of people are looking at this and saying, well, what could this possibly mean for Trey Hendrickson being a Bear if the Bears were willing to make a trade there? I don't know if that's still going to be as heavily on the table because you're spending all this money on the offensive line. And I think there's a possibility for you to do it. And I would love to see the Bears do it. But I've said, can you find a Trey Hendrickson in the draft? I love the name Mike Green at 10. If I'm looking at the defensive lineman, I love Mykel Williams in the second round. Now, he's not a Trey Hendrickson. He's more on the interior of that thing. But I think there are names out there that you could look at. Heck, I'd be interested to see if the hype around James Pierce going away is just because he didn't get as many sack numbers as we've seen this season as he did the season before, even though he still came away with 8. I think there's a ton of different directions that the Chicago Bears can go. I hope that they do find a way to make this work on the defensive side as well. But at a minimum, when you're starting out your conversation by saying we have addressed left guard, center, right guard, and we already had our right tackle in place, I think your left tackle in Braxton Jones is not great, but can fit in for the kind of system that I feel like the Chicago Bears are going to run here. I think that that's a situation where you don't look at this as a bad spot right now. Before I get out of here, let me give one more glance over on Threads, because X going down on this day is not crazy at all. Veteran cornerback Carlton Davis signed with the Patriots. The Patriots are trying to load up here. They said, we are not taking time. Titans landing Dan Moore Jr. That's a good get. He gets 3 years, 40 million. I don't know who Shefty's or who Rapp is talking about there. Steelers left tackle Dan Moore. Oh, I think he's talking about Dan Moore. Okay, same conversation there. All right, so I'm gonna get up out of here. Of course, if any more news breaks, we will drop a video on any more breaking news that does come our way. That's just how we're doing it here today. Also, we will be recording with Jason McKee at 3 today, kind of after the news has somewhat died down, even though there'll probably still be plenty of news coming your way. So stay tapped in with us for that as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.